Everybody's heard of if we set our intention, then we'd be in with a pretty fair chance of achieving whatever it is that we set out to do, as long as our intention is serious. Now, of course, we can look across the world and we'll see successful people. And when we read their biographies, we learn that they decided at a very young age that they were going to be something. And they never stopped trying to be that. And eventually, those who were successful are up there now and they get to tell their stories. But how many people failed? That's the thing. There has to be millions of people that failed. Their ultimate goal, I mean, Jim Carrey is a classic example. He really wanted it, and he was brilliantly talented and had all the support and all that sort of thing, and the determination, tenacity, and absolutely everything. And so if you do have that level of determination and intention, then you can create your reality. But we can do it on a much smaller level, and we can actually put to the test, can we warp this cosmos? Can we bring things into our lives just by setting our intention and just thinking about it, i.e. the law of attraction? Now, you would all be familiar with The Secret and the law of attraction, and there's a great deal to be said for that, and I've done it many times, and it's absolutely come true, and it's really bizarre and spooky when it happens. And so such a thing happened today. I'm cycling around this route that I go on, and I cycle around it 2, 3, 4, 5 times a week, depending on how I feel. And during fungi time, I'm always mindful of observing the roadside grass on both sides for any sign of any fungi. And I'm pretty hawkish when it comes to this. I can spot the smallest of shroom because I'm tuned into it, people. This is what I'm saying in my videos yesterday. Tuning into something makes an enormous amount of difference. If you tune into a book that you're reading, if you set aside time in peace and tranquility, and your level of concentration is dedicated to reading that, then you'll absorb it, you'll archive it, and you'll learn from it. But if you are half-hearted about it, you won't even remember what you've read. You put the book down and someone will question you about it, and basically you won't even really remember. I've known so many people like this. And I'm often saying in my videos, there's 2 ways to read. There's one whereby we think we're reading and we've got other thoughts in our heads and, you know, we're not really that serious. Or there's another way, like, I suppose if you're university students and you're studying, you're actually studying. That's the difference, people. Every time we read, we really do need to be studying. Unless, of course, you're just reading light novels for entertainment. But if we study, then of course we apply our application of memory and we ensure that we know what is being said and what the content of whatever it is we're reading is. And when we do this, of course, you'd be amazed how much you can actually remember. So I'm cycling today on this route, and I've cycled it, you know, many times in the recent months, and I've pretty well seen all the fungi that there was to see. But today I'm like, hot damn, I've got to find a puffball. I want to find one of these big white fungi because they're absolutely delicious. Now, I found one about as big as my fist about a week ago, and I have this drink holder on my bike, and I put it in there, but for somehow, some way, when I got back to my apartment, it was gone. And I'm like, how on earth did that disappear before my very eyes? But it did. So I'm out cycling today, and I'm like, I've got to find one of these fucking puffballs. I can taste it. I'm going to slice it, and I'm going to fry it in butter, and I'm going to crack a couple of eggs on top of it. It's going to be absolutely amazing, like it was a few years ago when I first tried them. So I'm cycling down this the road, country road, and there's a house on my left-hand side, and I'm scouting everything. I'm scouting in anyone's garden, because if I see one, I'm going in for it. So I was cycling by, and I saw about this big, about football size, what looked like a very old football, which had been in the garden for years, and it's got all mildew on it, and mould, and it was all discoloured from the sun and everything like that. And I thought, you can't just let these things go by, because it may not be a football. So I went back a little bit, I parked the bike, and it's behind a chainmail fence, and I got down, and I'm like, holy Moses, it's a freaking puffball. And I thought, well, shall I get over the fence? And I thought, a bit cheeky, the house is just there. The chances are, if anyone's in, they'll let me have it. So just as I was thinking that, I saw another huge one, and it was that big, people, and it was kind of like a brain on the outside, absolutely enormous. So I went and I knocked the door, and there was nobody there. So I went into the garden, and I pulled out the white one. But the only thing is, it was about a week gone over, and when I compromised it, it was soft. It started to decay from the inside, and I could see from a couple of slug penetrations from the outside that it was well past its best. And so I took it out of the garden, and I put it in front of the fence outside on the road. So when I cycle there in a couple of days, or maybe even tomorrow, I'll take my camera and I'll film it, and I'll cut it open. I'll see if there's any retrievable flesh in it. But what I'm saying is that I set my intention to find one of those. And when we set our intention, people, there's magic that happens. Some magic shit happens. Now, a friend of mine, a viewer, was out looking for Liberty caps, and said, wow, it's amazing what happens when you set your intention. And he found some. And that's just the thing about it. Now, I've done this law of attraction, setting my intention thing, many times, so for many things. And lots of you would have heard about the 3p coin and the pink football. But you wouldn't have heard probably this one that I'm going to be conveying to you now. I was testing this thing many, many times. And so on one particular occasion, I thought, well, I'm just going to manifest gloves. I've got no particular glove in mind. I'm just going to manifest gloves. And I was cycling down into town the next day. And so just as I started cycling, I remembered, I said I'm going to manifest them gloves, right? Okay, so let's keep open about it. Anyway, during that 5-mile cycle into town, I came upon about 10 gloves. There were medical gloves in the gutter. They were these rubber workman gloves. They were marigold washing up gloves, often just singular, seldom in a pair. There were cloth work gloves, and there were just regular like ski gloves. There was all these freaking gloves. So what actually happens when we try to make manifest something? You see, those gloves were always there. They're never magically fell out of the sky, just because I'd ordered them. They were always going to be there, but if I never set my intention, I wouldn't have noticed them, and they would have passed me by. Now, if you're looking for the ideal beautiful woman, the ideal beautiful guy, one thing that we have to do is we can't just say, I want to meet this wonderful person, because it may take a very long time if you don't put yourself out. But if you go into the environment where beautiful people are, then of course you massively increase your potential to encountering one that will think similar about you. And so on one occasion I was thinking, okay, well, I'm stalking around, I want to see a green wooden door on the front of a house with number 9. Green, my favourite colour, number 9, my favourite number. Okay, well, there's got to be them around. And so it may take some time. And so, I don't know, maybe after about 4 or 5 days or something, I wasn't even thinking about it at the time, and I was cycling around, and all of a sudden, hang on, a green door. What number is it? Fuck, it's number 9. And it's a wooden door. So, go figure, people, go figure on this stuff. And so, well, what do we do with that? Where do we take it? Where do we go with it? For instance, I've done things like, I'm going to go to Australia, I'm going to surf on Bondi Beach, and I'm going to work in the gold mines. And what happened? Well, that and a whole lot more. I was surfing on Bondi Beach, I did get to work in the gold mines, I did hold $1.25 million worth of gold bullion at the time, which was like 34 years ago now. So I don't know what it was worth now, 2 million, 2.5 million. But I asked the boss of the mine if I could go into the gold room to see the pour, molten gold poured into ingots, and then, you know, when they cool down a little bit, you grab them with pincers, you put them in an acid bath, and then you tap a code into them with these coding things, you know, hammer and, you know, chisel type things. And so I did that, and the boss said to me, well, you know, it's maximum security, it's under cameras, and you've got a guard, a pump action shotgun standing outside, and all this sort of thing. And he said to me, but, you know, seeing as you seem like the sort of guy that likes to learn a lot of things, and I'd already told him, because he gave me the job. How it happened is this, people. I decided that I'm going to get a job in the gold mines at one of the other things I was doing, and so I travelled with my girlfriend at the time, next to be the mother of my daughter. I was travelling in this car that we'd bought around these gold mines, and they're a very long way away from each other, as you can imagine. Open, you know, gold mines, they're huge. And so I'd done this over several days, and I was getting pretty tired of getting rejected. But then it's kind of like the last day, and my girlfriend said, come on, it's not like you to get dejected, you know you're gonna get it, let's just keep on. So, okay, went out and got to this site, and you know, got out the car and I went, you know, wish me luck to my girlfriend. She went, go on, you know, the job's waiting for you. And so anyway, I got this meeting with this boss. Now, what happened? I went to the main office, and they sent me over there and over here and then over there, and then I went and I was taken into a room where the boss man was, and I walked into the room, and he's looking down at his desk, just a big old wooden desk, you know, it's in a mine, so no fancy frills or anything like that, and he's writing something down on some paper, and his colleague says to him, this guy wants to know if there's any jobs. And he went, no. And I stood there, and the bloke went, come on, let's go, there's no jobs. And I went, excuse me, mate. I said, I've travelled 13,000 miles to come to work in these gold mines, and I'm not leaving till I've done it. He didn't even look up until I finished. He looked up, he looked at me. He looked at his colleague, and he said, get him a hat. His mate went, come on, fucking hell, he must, I don't know what you've done to, you know, this, that and the other. Because I told him I'd come 13,000 fucking miles and I'm not leaving until I've worked in the gold mines. He knew I was serious. He appreciated that. He probably got time wasters coming and going, you know, all day long, particularly foreigners that are not going to be there that long. So I got a hard hat, I got the khaki gear, and ended up working in those mines for, I don't know, about 2.5, 3 months or something like that. And I did lots of things whilst I was in that mine, and one of them was like watch the gold pour and hold all that gold. And so I set my intention to do that, and the intention delivered, people. So what I'm saying is, whenever you people are thinking, oh, I've done to, or oh, this world isn't giving me that, or I can't do this, I've not got that, really. You know, we've all heard of vision boards. You know, I don't do a vision board. I do the vision board here. I set my intention and I put myself into the realm where the potential is going to manifest. Now, if I just say to myself in my apartment, I want to find a puffball, and the only place that I go is in my garden and over the road to the shop, then what's the chances of me finding one? But as I say I want to find a puffball, then I go out into the countryside where they're liable to be, then I'm vastly increasing the potential, aren't I? So that's how it works, people. Now, with anything else, you know, I've done this vision thing and law of attraction with my businesses in the past. I said that I want to get this van, it needs to be like this, and I'm going to get it sign written, and it's going to be sitting outside my house. And I used to stand at my bedroom window looking out into the street under the street lamp, and I'm saying to myself, that's where it's going to be. And lo and behold, you know, about a month later, this gleaming white van, which I'd sign written with my business, was standing under the street lamp in all its glory. And I went, there's going to be another one right behind that, and there was within no time at all. Then I said to myself, I want a bigger one, I want a lorry. Then I said I want a bigger lorry, then I want premises and this, that and the other, and I did. And within 10 years I had this pretty big business, and there's 25 people working for me, and I was earning a lot of money for a shit kicker. And so I've manifested things, people, and I've done this all my life, and so it's doable and it's the thing. And you know, it's kind of like we can warp and bend this cosmos. It seems to be pliable. You know, there's lots of reasons why we shouldn't believe that we have free will, because all of our history brings us to where we are today, doing whatever we're doing today. But the curious thing about it is that it does seem that if we want to, if we set our intention, we can override the program. Because most people, they're just on programs. You know yourself, we call them automaton, don't we? They're automaton. They've never had these thoughts of, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that. They've never set their intention. They're always like, oh, that's for other people, or I can't do that. And because they're thinking that, then they won't. Some of you may be familiar with Neville Goddard, Napoleon Hill, Graham Walsh, Conversation with God. Is it Graham Walsh? Something like that. Donald Walsh, yeah. So all these people, you know, they're there and they speak about this stuff, and, you know, commanding the cosmos to deliver what you want. Why? Because it's your cosmos. Same as everybody else's. And when you look around and people have got this, that and the other, well, they're obviously doing something to get those things. They're obviously setting their intention in some shape or form. And so, well, if they can do it, well, why can't you? And we can. So, some people could say to me now, well, if that's the case, Owen, why don't you manifest £1 million? Because I don't want £1 million. What am I going to do with £1 million? I said the other day in a video, if I had £1 million, I'd kind of be like, oh, what shall I do then? I'm not really up to travelling really these days. I don't think I'm ever going to drive again. Okay, so maybe I'll hire a car. I'll hire a car and a driver. And I'll say, oh, take me to this castle, take me to that forest, take me, you know, to this special place. And maybe if I really got enthusiastic, I'd say, hire me a private plane and take me to somewhere, you know, because I just can't be doing with these airports and the commercial flights. And so I'll sit in a like little 10-seater, you know, be somewhere in no time. Okay, so I could do that. But, you know, it's not in my bucket list, people. And because I'm not serious about it, then it would never happen. All the things I've manifested in my life, I've worked hard for. I've you know, been very adventurous, very brave, and I've really stuck my neck out to achieve many things, and I've done many things. And just little things like when I went to Egypt. Well, I mean, I wanted to go in Tutankhamun's tomb, and I did that. I wanted to see Tutankhamun's artifacts, and that was 600 miles away in Cairo, so I did that on another occasion. I wanted to climb one of the Great Pyramids in Giza, so I climbed the second largest one, because the pyramids are patrolled by police on camels, and they're always looking out for people trying to climb, and it's illegal to do that. But if you pay somebody, they know where the police are, and they'll take you around the back of one where the police aren't going to be, and they'll take you up the back. And so everything is doable. And then I wanted to lie in the sarcophagus in the Great Pyramid of Giza, and so I paid somebody a few shekels, and he made that happen. And within that sarcophagus, people like Napoleon Bonaparte and Alexander the Great, and the whole myriad of very important, powerful people, probably even Plato and those sort of people laid in that. You've got to. When you get there, you've just got to do it. And so I've laid in that exact same space as many very renowned people. And it was quite something. It was quite something. And so, well, we just get to thinking about what you want to manifest. And if you really want it, if you set your heart on it, just try little things. Like some of you want to find some Liberty Caps. Okay, I'm going to find some Liberty Caps, and you set your mind to it, and you picture yourself actually finding some. You can't think about it constantly, because it doesn't work like that, and then you forget about it. And then you go out into the country, and you're quite mindful that you're looking for Liberty Caps, and so you know, you're not kind of like this everywhere, because it doesn't seem to happen like that. It's like when you forget about it, and you know, you've just been distracted with something else, and all of a sudden, oh, something will appear. It's kind of like that. That's how it works. And it's amazing when it does work, and we can achieve many things. And so one of the things that I'm doing, I'm seeing myself with a very clear throat, because my throat is pretty tight, I'm pretty restricted, you know, in my vocal cords, and I don't have a lot of range, but I went to see an ear, nose and throat specialist last week, just in case I had nodules or anything like that, and he said my throat is perfectly healthy. And I'm like, damn, you know, well, I was hoping there's going to be something, because then there would be a cure, and if I was cured, if I had the nodules burnt off, then maybe I'd increase my range by half an octave, or maybe an octave or something. But now I'm thinking, well, I'm going to manifest it. That's what I'm going to do. I've decided that that's going to happen. My throat is going to open, and I'm going to have a range of like 3 octaves. And so I've said it now, so watch this space, people. And I suppose little by little you'll see that manifest, because I've been doing this you know, for some time now, and I'm getting better and better all the time, because I'm really applying myself to it. So manifest your reality. It's doable, people, and it's pretty weird when it happens.